here's an important question for you guys out there. When's the last time you've taken a break? Hey guys, it's Jenny here, and welcome back to part, I think, 5 of my Making a Webtoon series. Honestly, I should probably start numbering my episodes. I'm back at it, working on AMP stuff. I had to take a bit of a break, and you may notice in the video a shift in energies. The first quarter or half of the video, I am just not feeling it. I'm pretty exhausted, burnt out, beat. I've also started to accept the reality that I was not entering the contest at the point of recording the first half of this video, and I was pretty much at my wit's end with all the work I had been doing and looking at how much I still had left. It just felt really discouraging. So it was time that I took a break, which I did. And if you guys have seen my previous uploads, you'll know that I worked on some other artsy stuff on the side that had absolutely nothing to do with AMP, and that was the break that I really needed. It was a nice little break, and I do feel like I have the energy to get back into the swing of things, and I definitely want to prioritize making progress, consistent progress throughout the days and weeks. Doesn't have to be huge things that I'm knocking out, but with whatever it is that I'm doing artistically, I have to make a little bit of time to progress with AMP, so that is the goal for right now. So yeah, kick back, relax, draw with me, work on your panels or whatever art project you got going on, and I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. At this point of lining my panels, I am nearing the end of page 2 out of 6, I believe. I tried to draw Celine in this perspective where you kind of have like a top-down view of her. She's walking away from a very traumatic experience that she just went through, processing everything that happened. It was a very nerve-wracking moment. She's picking herself up and dragging her very fatigued body away from the scene, still reeling in from what happened. You can tell as she's got little beads of sweat dripping down her face, and of course, she's still wounded, but our main character must continue on, despite all the injuries and emotions going through her right now. I took a little break from lining my panels to reply to some comments on my YouTube channel. I end the night by doing one of my least favorite chores ever, which happens to be laundry. After that, I decided to get a little bit of reading in as I've been working on finishing up the Lord of the Rings series. It's been a few weeks since I've touched the Fellowship of the Ring. I really need to make time again to read before bed. After I get in at least a quarter, half of a chapter done, I decide to switch over and watch some horror gameplay before I go to sleep, which is usually my go-to. Okay, currently at the Rose Garden here in El Paso, trying to take pictures for our reception in a couple months. And it's really pretty here. I think we've done a pretty good job at taking pictures so far, but we're gonna see if we can take some more. It's kind of hard doing it without a third set of eyes, but we're making it work, right? I think we are.
We are.
El Paso Rose Garden was incredibly beautiful. It was our first time visiting this park, which is free. And the amount of roses that were there, the amount of colors, it was honestly, I was not expecting for there to be so many different types of roses, so that was a pleasant surprise. We got some good pictures in, and now I am getting back into working on this panel of Celine. I'm really glad that I discovered vector layers exist in Clip Studio Paint, because it does make erasing intersecting lines very, very easy. I don't have to worry about erasing tiny little pixels for the most part. Here's a little preview of what I got for my panel so far. And now I am switching gears. Wanted to do something a little silly and fun. I decided to draw out chibi versions of my characters, excluding Celine thus far. As I've mentioned in previous videos when I worked on my character design sheet for Akira, Akira is the leader of a group of S-enchanters, but he has one particular squad that fights alongside him. So I wanted to draw out their chibi versions just to give myself an idea of how many additional side characters I have to work on. So Akira's chibi is done. He's looking quite smug, I guess is the word. I'm not even sure. He's just kind of like, yeah, I do what I want. I'm the leader. Do what I say. Moving on to Eli. Of course, Eli has his signature blindfold with that lip earring chain. The cool mullet going on too. I used to draw a lot of chibi art when I was in middle school. It just throws me back to those times when I would doodle on my assignments rather than actually work on them during class. Next up, I am drawing Ike's little chibi. Of course, I have to give her a little bit of a mean mug because she gives off Ice Queen vibes for sure. So at the moment, I had in mind a total of 6 characters that fight alongside Akira and are a part of his squad, which again, after Akira, they are considered the highest ranking S-enchanters within Faction 7's service. But I need to do a little bit of brainstorming to figure out if I'm gonna go with 6 or just 5, which means if I go with 5, I only have 2 more characters I have to design. So I drew Nero's chibi placeholder. Right now I'm looking at old sketches of his hairstyle. I've probably sketched out maybe 1 or 2 ideas on how Nero's gonna look like, but this is the first time that I'm really putting in a lot more energy into drawing out his face. Unlike some of the other characters where it was pretty clear to me early on what kind of hairstyle I wanted to give them, Nero is a bit of an oddball because I had the idea of giving him longer hair than Akira's, but not as long as Eli's. I have some screenshots of hairstyles that I found that I thought would be fitting for Nero or another side character. So I decided to just create a bunch of different hairstyles and then from there on decide which one fits Nero best. This was a good approach, and I think there's some styles that maybe I could use for other characters. Good afternoon, guys. It is 3:30 on May 26th, Memorial Day. Excuse me if I look a little greasy. I did just finish working out not that long ago. I've been excited to finally finish Nero's character design, or at least his face and hairstyle that I couldn't help myself, so I had to jump into it and just play around with a couple different styles, okay? So after a lot of tweaking of his face, I think I finally have it looking somewhere close to what I had imagined him, which is weird to say because I don't think I had an exact look for Nero. It was more like the feeling, the energy of who he is as a person, and my many drafts of him in my sketchbook was kind of in the general vicinity of what I felt would fit him, but it wasn't him quite yet. But I think I am finally nearing something that feels right. So after a couple different styles, I have discovered he is a wavy hair kind of guy. So I'm gonna work on some more sketches, some different hairstyles that are wavy, just to give myself an idea on what he could rock for AMP. But so far the waves fit him. I also did imagine him with the man bun, but maybe that's something he can grow out throughout AMP, and the readers as well as Celine will meet Nero with shorter wavy hair. So it's just something I'm throwing out there. Also, another random thing that I just started thinking about when I was working on this sketch for him today is I really like the feeling of a pencil for my line art rather than a solid brush like a pen, which is a problem because I've been using I think it's called the Studio G pen in Clip Studio Paint. So a part of me is now wondering, do I redo the panels with a different brush? This is something I should have thought about when I started, but I was just like, no, let me go into it with the studio brush. It's the closest thing to that mangaka sort of feel, but I don't know, this pencil brush is really resonating with me. So if I could find something that's similar to this, isn't too grainy, has enough opacity that it kind of looks like it could be like a solid pen brush, but it's not. It has that like the texture and a little bit of the line breaks. Yeah, I don't know. I really don't know what I'm gonna do, but I guess I need to decide because I don't want to switch up the style too much. Yeah, I don't know. I need to figure some things out, but anyway, that's enough rambling. Let me get back to playing dress up with Nero's hairstyle, and once I finish and maybe come up with like 2 or 3 more hairstyles at most, I'll put everything next to each other so it's easy to see, and then I'll make my decision on which hairstyle he's gonna rock. So, yep, that's all for me. This exercise was particularly helpful for me as like I said, I didn't really have a set style in mind. I just had the feeling of it being longer hair that I wanted for Nero. So this gave me the freedom and opportunity to explore and play around with different ideas, some of which I really liked, but it just didn't fit Nero. It was definitely interesting seeing him rock different textures of hair. I think this helped me come to terms with Nero being a wavy hair character. This is ultimately the hairstyle shape that I decide on. It's got a lot of volume, a lot of waves, a lot of textures going on. After spending a good chunk of my Saturday drawing, I came up with 8 different versions of Nero's hair. In the beginning, I really liked these 2 styles, and these are the ones I was kind of leaning towards. But after I drew some more out and looked at other types on Pinterest, I started leaning towards this longer, shaggier hair that he'll pull up into a man bun and then have that one like long face framing bang kind of chilling in front of it. And I have to say, I'm really pleased with how his look is coming together. It's crazy to think how much time passed from recording the first half of this video and the second half, and how much my energy and demeanor when it comes to AMP has changed. Here's an important question for you guys out there. When's the last time you've taken a break? And I don't mean just getting up and stretching, which is very important and something I need to do more often myself, but I mean, when have you just taken a break from what it is you're working on to do something else that maybe wasn't related to art at all, like another hobby that you enjoy, or just working on another art project that's not the one you've been slaving away at? When is the last time you've taken a break? Because if there's anything this Webtoon Legends contest has proven to me is the importance of taking regular breaks. If you're working on something that requires you to dedicate days, weeks, months, maybe even years to it, it is important that you just take a moment to separate yourself from your art so that you can get back into it feeling refreshed and not constantly grinding it out. The fatigue will catch up to you and you might begin to resent what it is you're working on. I touched on this in my last Webtoon episode, so I just want to reiterate that please take breaks, do something else, because more than likely you need it, and also it will help you come back into it with a different perspective and a fresh set of eyes, which is what you need sometimes when you're so deep in it and you're like tunnel visioning too hard. It's hard to see outside of that, right? I think another reason why I started to think about breaks and the importance of balance more so is because I was recently in a roundtable talk with Apollo and 2 other artists, Day and Linda. If you are interested in what we discussed, which included strategies and our experiences dealing with perfectionism, then you should check out the video. It was a legit discussion. But yeah, a lot of things came up in that talk that made me realize that, you know what, I have to stay consistent with what I'm doing, and that every action that I make, that consistency is what's going to take me to my end goal, which is publishing AMP. Not just one day, but hopefully within the next few years. And that's a palpable goal that I think I can set for myself, and hopefully I can accomplish it rather than giving myself some arbitrary deadline. I'd like to think within the next few years, AMP is going to be on Webtoon, or maybe even like my own website. Take breaks. It's okay to rip away from your art every once in a while, decompress, take a day or even a week away from it if you need to, and work on other stuff that is low maintenance, because sometimes you just need to do something fun that you don't have much of an emotional attachment to, because then there's less of a chance that if you don't hit that mark that you have for yourself, it won't be as devastating as a blow to your self-esteem as it would be if it was the project you actually really cared about. Oh man, this is going to be a very interesting and long series, because as you guys can tell so far, I am nowhere near done with episode 1. I haven't even finished lining everything yet. I hope you guys enjoyed watching this video. Please stay tuned for part 6. And I really do hope that you guys are taking breaks and making time for yourself and your loved ones, because that's equally as important as your art. Balance is key. We are in this for the long haul, so we have to find ways to make sure that everything else outside of our art is not suffering and we're paying as much attention to it, as well as making time for that important craft of ours, which is expression and art. So yeah, hope you guys enjoyed today's video. Hope to see you around for the next one, and please take care of yourself out there. I'll see you guys next time. Bye.